Good morning. Thursday, the 23rd of July. And I opened my book this morning at this image. And I'll put that up on the front of this reflection. It says, "What is that over there?" "It's the wild," said the mole. "Don't fear it." Imagine how we would be if we were less afraid. Now, I guess fear has played quite a part in the lives of many, many people over the last few months, maybe a bigger part than normal. People have been afraid that they may become ill, afraid that they might die, afraid that they might die alone. There's been fear that folk wouldn't be able to see their families because they were in isolation. There's been so much that's been different from anything we've experienced before. And human beings are, I guess, the unknown is something that is often to be feared. And I can't say to you, don't be afraid, because that would be it would be a pointless thing to say, because we're all afraid of something. We've all been afraid. We all understand what that feels like. I mean, I'm absolutely petrified, for example, of snakes. I just cannot deal with them at all, although I've held them and so on in the interest of trying to desensitize myself. Anyway, that's by the way. I'm working on the service for Sunday, and in that service, I'm hoping that we're going all to be able to look at and think about and pray about our church as we go forward. We have permission now from the government to reopen our churches for worship, but of course, none of that will be anything like it looked before, with social distancing, with big gaps, obviously, therefore, between people, with no singing, with no pipe organs in churches where they exist, with no wind instruments, no choirs, and so on, no social gathering, no coffee and tea. It's a very different picture from the churches that we've known all our lives in some cases. And so where do we go with that? Is that something to be feared? Is it something to be embraced? And what I'd like you to do, if you would please for me over the next few days, is to pray that what I managed to put together for Sunday will help to inform us, will help to enable us to embrace the way that God would have us travel. And that, I think, will make a huge difference to the way that we think and the way that we behave. To be afraid is a part of being human. To know that God has this is huge. Back in Lent, when we had the last service we had in our church building, the Lent, I think it was Lent 3 or something like that, and we sat apart then, but we had a normal service. And in that service I spoke and said that we needed to remember that God has this. And we need still today to remember God still has this. God has our backs. And we need to walk in faith towards whatever lies before us. And so, until I see you again, God bless, and please do spend some time in prayer for our fellowship, for all of our churches, and prayer for guidance as we move ahead. Amen.